Guys, this HOA thought they had me cornered. They tried to drown me in fake violations and bogus fines, like I was gonna just roll over. Nah. So I walked into court with receipts, and when the judge saw my evidence, man, that courtroom went dead silent. Watch this till the end because the twist, absolutely wild. And hey, hit that subscribe button, because these HOA tyrants ain't ready for what's coming next. I never thought owning a home would turn into a war zone. When I bought my place in Maple Ridge Estates, all I wanted was peace. A quiet life, a backyard, place where I could breathe. But the HOA, they had other plans. It started small, almost invisible. A warning letter about my trash bin being visible from the street. Funny thing is, the bin wasn't even mine. I shrugged it off. Until the next week, another letter came. Then another, and another. By the end of the month, I had 9 violations and a threat of legal action. At first, I thought it was a mistake, an error, miscommunication. But then I noticed something. All the letters had one thing in common. They were signed by the same HOA board member, a woman named Linda Hartwell, the kind of person who polices lawns like she's guarding the gates of heaven. One evening, as I walked to my mailbox, she called out to me from across the road. "Your grass is an inch too long," she said. She had a tape measure in her hand. Tape measure. I laughed. That was my first mistake. She didn't. The next morning, I received a $150 fine for unkempt lawn. The grass wasn't even long, but I paid attention now. This wasn't about rules. This was personal. So I started documenting everything. Every letter, every encounter, every petty comment. I mounted cameras, front yard, backyard, doorbell, side gate. And that's when the truth started to unravel. One night, at 2:13 a.m., my side yard camera caught a shadowy figure walking along the fence line. He carried a clipboard, tape measure, and a flashlight. He wasn't a burglar. He was an HOA board member. I watched as he shined his light directly into my backyard, measuring my deck chairs, scribbling notes, and photographing my garden shed like he was building a case file. The next morning, another violation. Unauthorized structure in backyard. The structure was the same shed that existed when I bought the property. Approved, permitted, and listed in the original sale. I called the HOA office. Nobody answered. Emailed. No reply. I asked to attend the next board meeting. Denied. Space restrictions. They weren't following rules. They were rewriting them. And I wasn't the only one. Across the neighborhood, whispers began. Quiet complaints from neighbors who were tired of the harassment. Fines for mailbox color. Violations for lawn decorations. Threats of liens. Then came the rumor. A rumor that the HOA was slowly, quietly pushing homeowners into selling, undervaluing their properties so the board's partners could buy them cheap and flip them. I brushed it off. Until it came for me. A realtor knocked on my door. Said she had a client interested in buying my home. Her offer? $90,000 below market value. I asked why I would sell. She said, "And I'll never forget. Well, with all your violations and pending actions, it might be easier just to walk away." Pending actions? I had none. Someone was feeding her information. Someone wanted me out. That night, I sat at my dining table staring at the pile of letters. Something snapped inside me. I wasn't going to be bullied. Not by an HOA. Not by a board abusing its power. So I built a plan. A meticulous, airtight plan. I gathered every document I had. Every timestamp. Every picture. Every video. I sent certified letters requesting inspection records, complaint logs, and board meeting minutes. They refused, which was illegal. And that was my opening. So I filed a small claim, requested judicial review, and subpoenaed the HOA. And when the notice hit their doorstep, all hell broke loose. The next day, 3 board members showed up outside my house. Arguing, whispering, pacing. One of them pointed at my camera, realizing too late it was recording. I didn't confront them. I didn't yell. I didn't react. I let them panic. Because I knew what they didn't. I had evidence that would blow this case wide open. And the judge, well, the morning of the hearing, the sky hung low, gray, heavy, and still, like it knew what was about to happen. I walked into the county courthouse with a binder under my arm. Black, thick, filled to the edge. Across the room, the HOA board sat stiff and smug. Linda Hartwell front and center, hands folded, fake smile glued to her face. She looked confident, too confident, like someone who thought the system belonged to her. The judge entered. Everyone rose, and the hearing began. The HOA's attorney started strong, painting me as a hostile, uncooperative homeowner, claiming I had committed multiple violations, saying my fines were appropriate and necessary. Then he hit me with the line they'd been rehearsing for weeks. Your Honor, we believe Mr. Jameson is intentionally resisting community standards and refusing to comply with reasonable inspections. I didn't move, didn't blink, because I knew what was coming. When it was my turn, I stood slowly, placed my binder on the table, and opened it. Your Honor, I said, I'd like to present Exhibit A. I handed him a report. Inspection logs, blank. Complaint forms, missing. Approvals unsigned. Entire sections redacted. The judge frowned. These are required documents, he said. The HOA attorney shifted. Linda stiffened. Time for Exhibit B. I played the first video 2:13 a.m. The board member in my yard. Measuring. Photographing. Trespassing. The courtroom started whispering. The judge leaned forward. Is this one of your officials? He asked. The HOA attorney swallowed. We can't confirm that. I smiled. Allow me to help. I zoomed in. Clear as daylight, name badge visible. The judge's jaw tightened. Time for Exhibit C. Emails. Signed letters. Handwritten notes. Notes instructing board members to look for violations. Notes suggesting certain homeowners be pressured. And one note, the note that ended the case. A letter from Linda to the realtor. His violations will make him desperate. Lowball him. He'll fold. Gasps filled the courtroom. Linda's face drained of color. The judge looked stunned. Speechless. Blinking. Almost in disbelief. Then I dropped Exhibit D. Drone footage. Footage of board members performing illegal nighttime inspections on 5 houses. Footage of them photographing backyards through fences. Footage of them entering driveways without permission. The judge lifted his glasses and rubbed his forehead. I've never seen anything like this, he whispered. Then came the verdict. Not only are all fines dismissed, he said, but this HOA has engaged in harassment, illegal surveillance, and abuse of authority. I am ordering a full audit of the board, immediate suspension of enforcement powers, and a formal investigation into misconduct. Linda tried to speak. He raised his hand sharply. No, not another word. For the first time since this nightmare started, I felt the weight lift off my chest. People in the courtroom shook my hand. Whispered, good job. Finally someone stood up. You saved this community. As I walked out of the courthouse, I looked back one last time. Linda sat frozen. The board crumbling around her. The power they'd abused evaporating into thin air. Justice finally chose a side. And it wasn't theirs.